Monday night is fashion night, and here we are again, 1 hour later than normal, but I still hope that works. And we have in the room, of course, Dirk Kennedy and Michaela de Chatillon. How's it going, guys?
Hey, gang. Anthony
Fabulous.
Kiris says, what's for dinner? Anybody else have a very strange staggering of the theme song?
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, it was
you
odd.
did?
Yeah, that was weird.
So that's what's been happening on iBashers, and it's part of my weird computer dilemma. But now that it's there and you heard it, StreamYard, maybe it's StreamYard.
The hell are we paying for here?
I don't know, but it's a lot of money.
Are you drinking lovely coffee, Michaela?
I am drinking espresso. Julius Meinl espresso, of course.
In a Tiffany cup. Very nice.
Yes. I'm very grateful. This was a wedding present. Little set.
That's so cute.
They are so cute, and I have a little teapot. It's adorable.
Somebody sent me this. You can't see it because I have a green screen, but it's one of those diner cups, but it's ceramic.
Yeah,
that's nice. You
can't see it. Yeah,
those are cute.
They're cute. Yeah, it's fun. I would be drinking coffee today, but I went out with his sister, and I had 2 monster double espresso, so I'm caffeinated out of my mind enough.
You don't want the palpitations to start.
I mean, it's going to happen eventually to me. I'm just way too crazy with the caffeine. And Asheen spent the day on the Venice Lido, which is my happy place, my happiest place on earth.
I discovered the most amazing part of it. I've never been in this part before. It's unbelievable.
Where was it?
North. So we rented bikes, and we went all the way down that main street, and instead of hanging a right and heading towards the Morazzi and past the Excelsior and all that, we headed left. And we went north, and we found the most astonishing places. Incredible walk.
I've never gone left. I always go right.
You always go right. Me too.
Wow.
And it was wonderful. It was just dreamy. It's so dreamy out there.
It's a dream there. It really is. It's a dream.
So I just walked in the door, literally, and I got a little sun.
You got a lot of sun.
It's the
beginning. Are you using the sun-kissed filter on the...
I guess it's the first exposure. We went out at 2:30, so it wasn't like we got the main sun, like the heavy sun. But you know how it is. It's the first introduction to the sun for the year, so slow build up from here. And wonderful walk. Walked a lot. Very beautiful spots out there.
It's paradise.
I'll post some stuff on my Instagram, guys. Follow me on Instagram, for crying out loud. My old Instagram got banned. So now I'm back to 0 again.
You're so daring. That's why.
Rebuild. It's the rebuild.
It's the rebuild. What are we wearing on the wrist, Dirk?
Milgauss.
Milgauss is always.
Twist, Milgauss.
Yeah, looking good. Very good. I went out with this. I wore this all day.
Did you? Well, that's summer. Summer in the city, baby.
I was wearing blue, but that shirt was all crinkled because I had a bag on my back, on my shoulder. And we were cycling and stuff. So I just threw on this Irish green.
That's a great color on you, though.
You can't go wrong with those earth tones with you.
No.
They look good on you.
Green works well because it brings out the eye color.
Yeah, too. Yeah, it does.
What are you wearing, Michaela?
I'm wearing my Ballon Bleu.
Beautiful.
Oh.
She's always thinking about color coordinating because that top still matches the numerals. Look at that.
That's right.
Totally did that on purpose. Yes.
Well, you must have.
It totally
I didn't
blends.
just throw it on.
You
totally thought it out.
You divil.
I was half expecting the new Bulgari again. I figured
it will make its way back. Don't worry.
Yeah, I thought maybe you were still in the honeymoon period days of that watch.
She's
good point. Yeah,
cautious.
I've had it.
A love affair.
I've had it longer than I've talked about it. So I've had it for a couple months now, I think.
The Bulgari.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know.
You
I thought it was
sly
great.
little devil, you. We didn't know.
I
that.
know. Yeah, actually, I had started filming a video with it, and my camera broke, and so I was waiting a few weeks, and I got a replacement, and I'm very happy about that. And so I got to reshoot my video, and that's why it's out.
Oh.
Mhm.
It looks stunning on you.
I saw there was a clip from the Saint where he has to barter with his watch. I didn't know that.
I've
I
never
never
seen
saw
this
the
film. Me neither.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, the Saint is the old one.
Of course.
Right.
No,
Oh, look
Saint
who it
Understandable.
is. She
Elizabeth
was in it.
Shue.
Where is beautiful Elizabeth Shue? I
I
love
don't know.
her.
I had such a crush on
Oh,
Elizabeth
she's
Shue.
a gorgeous delight
Yeah,
and a terrific actress. Oh, that
that's
looks
a great
amazing.
looking watch.
Oh yeah.
And you're right. It's like it's the roundness is covered a little bit by that wide integrated bracelet.
Hmm.
Looks good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was fun because all three of us were talking bad about the modern Bulgari designs where most of the straps are so skinny with
Yeah.
like the super round dial and it's kind of hideous, but
It's hideous.
I like it like this. I think it works. And I was talking about the Bulgari all around the dial and how I don't personally mind it. Of course, I'm biased because I own the watch, but a lot of
It's-
people are discussing in the comments that they understand it's like part of the DNA of the brand. So it's less like being covered in Louis Vuitton logos. It's more a little bit classier. This was an example of like the ugly roundness of the dial.
Plus, it's not made in China like Louis Vuitton.
We've learned a lot recently, haven't we?
The illusion. Welcome to the grand illusion.
I swear to God, I made a video on that. And
We know.
It's getting a lot of it's getting a lot of traction, but it's so polarizing. So many people are like, why are you surprised? Everything's made in China. And then others are like, no, there's no fucking way, man.
It definitely is all made in China. Definitely. I believe 100% that it is. 100%.
I don't know at this
That
point.
leather guy that has the huge leather channel, the guy that rips apart wallets, he's got a name like
that guy. Yeah.
that guy is convinced that it's all complete because he rips it all apart and he goes crap.
I reckon it's down to, I would say there's a lot, 60, 80%, whatever it is. And then it's sent out unfinished and they put those finishing touches on.
Yep.
And that's that.
Yeah.
That's
They
I
put the
buy
made
it.
in France, made in Italy. They put the hardware maybe.
as far as watches, I think Omega definitely have some owning up to do, and certain, a lot of watch brand, including my watch, by the way. I mean, a lot of the parts are. I'm sure that bracelet originates in China, but I'm not asking thousands of dollars. It's like you got to factor in the price. I don't think Rolex are doing it.
No.
I had a lot of people on my chat going, "Oh, Rolex definitely are made in China." I'm like,
I don't think so.
nah, they're not.
I don't think anything Rolex does is Chinese. Nothing.
Nah,
No.
absolutely.
Not them. Plus,
I
they
know-
have their own foundries and all that stuff, so
Yeah.
it's unlikely.
I know the fakes can get very, very convincing the more you spend and so on, but that doesn't mean that the real Rolex is made in China. I don't think they are. Maybe I'll make a video about the brands that I think could possibly have outsourced certain parts. I can't speak tonight.
Outsource certain parts.
Yeah.
I'd watch it. I'm curious.
Yeah, watch
Yeah.
it.
And the ones that I don't think did. I mean, I don't think AP did, and I don't.
Hey.
There are certain brands I don't think did, but other brands, anyone under the Swatch Group is probably, privy to that problem because they're being told by their superiors. Nick Hayek is looking down on them and saying, "Listen, this is how we're going to make profit this year. You're going to let them make the bracelets or cut the watch heads or whatever."
Sure.
At least that's my theory.
Bobby Boldy says the sharp edge cases of the Speedies brought that to light, at least partially, it seems.
Yes.
And you're probably correct, Bobby Boldy.
It probably was. Yeah, started with that.
Makes sense.
It does.
Makes
And it makes
perfect
sense that certain ones don't have the problem and some do. That means they may have split the job up. I want a coffee. She's drinking a coffee. I want a
I want a coffee now too, so badly.
I actually knew when I was making this right before I jumped on, I knew if I drank this in front of you, both of you would want one. I
Yeah.
know
Hold
that.
on a second.
That's how it works.
I
Can
could do
you
something.
smell it?
Hey, Paul, could you make me a double espresso?
Make it snappy.
He's home.
You've got your own waiter.
Excuse me, waiter. It all makes perfect sense, expressed in dollars and cents, pounds, shillings, and pence. It's all.
Can't you see it all
probably
makes sense? Perfect sense. Bala, hey, all Michaela looking stunning as ever. Dirk, that cleaner shave makes you look so fresh and young. Oh, Sheen. Well, you look like you always do, scruffy but sincere. Thank you, Bala. I'll
Thank
take it.
you.
I'll take that. That's no problem.
It's fine.
Guys, tonight our subject is not watches and not celebrities and so on, but things like entertaining guests and what to do, the way to do this properly if you're having people over, preparing meals, or whatever you may be doing, and the right and wrong ways to do it according to our experts here in the room. I have a couple, I have a little list here that I found online of things. I want to see what you guys think. These are the 21 rules of entertaining.
Excellent.
Very interested to see what we have here.
So, number one, less can be more. Focus on a few beautiful, well-conceived, well-prepared dishes. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I mean,
totally, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because too much choice. First of all, it's a lot more work for you. Sometimes you have to make provisions for a guest that you know might have some dietary concerns, or maybe they don't drink alcohol, or things like that. So there's at least a bit of choice. You don't want to offer. You're not in a restaurant. You're not a restaurant. So
yeah, you don't want to provide a full menu.
No.
Right.
Yeah, just know your audience, know who's coming.
That's it.
And ask them if they have any like allergies or whatever, because then you get that all out of the way. And it is kind of sad to not know one of your guests has like a serious allergy or doesn't eat meat or something, and then you genuinely want them to enjoy the food and they just cannot eat it. So you got to ask ahead of time. It's very different if you have like huge party of tons of people coming in and food is really just the afterthought and it's about the cocktails. That's totally different. I think you can't expect to accommodate, in your home, like 25, 50 people's random preferences. If you're having a big party, that's a little bit trickier, but in a more intimate gathering, for sure.
I have these two friends named Kate and Carl, and they're some of the greatest home entertainers I have ever experienced. Now, they're people of style and wealth and substance and all that. So they hire a bartender, and they have a 5 liquor selection, and they do a little card of signature party cocktails for the night. Now, you can opt for a Scotch on the rocks, or you can choose one of these things when they're doing 30, 40 guests. Now, most of us don't do 30, 40 guest parties, unless you have a castle or a chateau in France or something like that. But if you have a party, offering them a couple of different cocktails, somebody might not like spritzing. Somebody might not enjoy Prosecco or Champagne, or, one of the, if you can offer just a couple of small things. Ice is essential too for people. Some people like it, some people don't. It's just very, very simple to make sure. But the worst thing you could do is to not know your audience badly enough that when somebody sits down, there's nothing for them. And that happens.
That could happen. You've got to be careful that you think you have all the options and you might wind up with nothing. I mean, you're going to need the red wine, the white wine, the sparkling, right? Beer, coffee. He's got his coffee. Look at that. It's all cremosa. It's all creamy.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are killing me, man. I could use one of those right now. Wake me up.
Not bad.
We had Proseccos. We were stopping, these on the Lido along that lovely road. You have all these little bars. There's one in an old bus. It's built out of an old bus and stuff. And we stopped at this beautiful little dreamy bar and we started having Prosecco. So I'm a little, I could use a coffee to wake me up. So what are the ground rules? Like, you need some gin, some vodka. You need beers for the guy who doesn't drink any of that and just
hard
wants
liquor.
straight up. Yeah, you want a straight up beer. And you need something probably interesting for people who don't drink booze at all, but don't want to be, handed a Coca-Cola with some ice and lemon, right? What do you make?
Have a lemonade, an alcoholic lemonade. Like make if it's a spring or a kind of a picnic vibe, or have something light and refreshing. And you could have an alcoholic version or a non-alcoholic, like a beautiful pink lemonade with either gin or vodka, or completely sans alcohol.
One of the
What do you do, Michaela?
I do a kind of a French soda with real French syrup. I'll use 2 parts lime, 1 part lavender, and then sparkling water, bubbly water. And that's great. And if somebody wants to add a little bit of something to it, they can, but it's a great thing to serve to people that don't drink. Because I do think it's good to have some kind of a classy drink. Again, like you're saying, no Coca-Cola, something a little fancier to offer. That's what I do. But yeah, I agree about the variety of alcohol. It's always a lot. You got to have a lot of different things. Yeah, beers, whatever. And after these kind of parties, I host a lot at my house. I've always been a huge fan of hosting cocktail parties, dinner parties, all kinds of things. There's always so many like leftover like beer in my refrigerator because I don't touch it. I'm not a beer person. I don't like drinking that many calories. It's just not my thing. There's just so much left. So I started just secretly making people take it with them afterward, and they absolutely love that. So it's your party favor.
That's a nice treat. There's nothing better than leaving a party with a little treat bag.
With some extras, with some
wonderful
takeaways.
Thing, yeah.
So on this math here, they have some math here on this list. Some handy math. On average, assume your guests will have 2 drinks per hour. 10 guests by 2 drinks by 2 hours equals 40 drinks. Interesting math. There are approximately 5 wine glasses per bottle, unless it's Anya pours, in which case it's 2.
It's 2.
A 1 liter bottle of liquor contains enough for 32 mixed drinks. 1 liter of mixer will make 8 drinks. These are things you have to keep in mind.
Sure.
You don't want people to run out.
Never run out.
You don't want someone with
It's embarrassing.
in their hand. Right. So you gotta, keep an eye on what people are grabbing. Here's one. When people walk in the door, when people are arriving, do you hand them an aperitif? You take their coat.
If it's a formal party, yes. Now, if you've got the bucks, of course, it's great to hire a person and it doesn't have to be a staff. It could be just one. If you're having a big party, have one person whose dedicated job is to hand them their drink or to take their coat, just to make them feel welcome. Because you might be in the middle of the living room or the kitchen. You might be busy preparing. You could be,
and that's always the case.
It's always the case.
It's always the case. Whenever people show up early, by the way, that is the number one rule. We should never show up early for a party you're invited to. It's not helpful. It's
be fashionably
stressful.
Late. It's better.
Obviously, if it's like your best friend, like that's a different story. But if you're a guest, don't arrive early, because I promise you, even once the party started, the host is still getting things together. There's a lot of moving parts, but I think it is nice to, if you can, be the one that opens the door every time and greets everyone that comes. That's difficult, but luckily I have sisters and I don't have to pay them, so they can go answer the door. People are equally happy to see their pretty faces when they open the door, so it works out. And then offer them a drink right away. Like, what can I get you? And then list what you have. And then
let them settle in.
Introduce them to somebody if they don't know somebody. Hey, this is so and so. That way, if you're busy, you can walk away and go do what you have to do.
That's a good one. Like if they arrive by themselves, that they may need an intro to someone else, maybe who's by themselves. If it's husband and wife arriving, they're good for the first while. They can mingle themselves in their own time. But if someone arrives by themselves with a bottle of wine in their hand, they're single or whatever, it might be an idea to say, oh yeah, she came along or he came along by himself earlier. Hey, do you know such and such? And next thing, they've got someone to talk to, at least to, settle in. There's a good point here by Dean. The simplest thing, you might be stressed if you're hosting a party. You're stressed. You're thinking of a million things. Am I burning those fucking sausages in the oven or whatever?
You're timing a lot of things.
Yeah,
it's a delicate dance,
and you might forget to smile.
Right.
And that's the one thing you need to do when people arrive at the door. You want to give them a big smile. Here's one of my favorite scenes of a party in The Family Man. Do you remember this film? It's a beautiful film.
Oh, I love this movie. I love this.
And this big
my favorite
Christmas
Nicolas Cage movie ever.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
And the big smile there at the door. Everybody's arriving in. Of course, there's an underlying story here with this next door neighbor who's
if you haven't
hitting
seen
on
it,
him. Yeah.
It's great. Everybody should
Great
watch
Christmas film. Great Christmas movie. Yeah. Taking his coat, immediately took his coat and his gloves right away. He's looking for the scotch because he's still freaked out because he's
Yeah.
in another person's life. Have you ever seen this film, Michaela?
Yeah, it's been a while, but it's a good one.
It's a sliding doors kind of movie with like what life would have been.
He needs a couple of drinks. That's still a great movie. Though.
It's a terrific film. And isn't this a lovely kind of family Christmas atmosphere that they've got going on here? Everybody looks festive. The tables go. Of course, this is Hollywood, and we have to take that into account. But it doesn't take a whole hell of a lot to make your centerpieces and your table look attractive for people. It doesn't take a whole lot.
It's
you don't have to
simple.
have miles of charcuterie and all that stuff. Just a couple of simple things to make it warm and inviting.
Right.
Jeremy Piven is so good in this movie.
He's really good as the friend who kind of doesn't get what's happening to his buddy, but he kind of goes along with it.
So good.
It's so well made, yeah.
I learned the best thing to do as a host if you're freaking out, like if you're genuinely stressed, it happens. You actually are doing a lot. People are coming in and you're stressed and you need a smile. I think the best thing is to kind of a little bit in a self-deprecating way, like tease yourself, like, I'm such a mess. I'm sorry. I'm digging it. And people always find that endearing. And they're always like, oh, no, it's okay. But keep a smile on your face and like kind of laugh at how crazy it feels in the moment. And people always like it. It's the best way to handle it, you know, not yelling at your husband in front of everyone. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I think the smart thing to do as well when you have someone come along maybe who's by themselves is a little shy and you know them. And you know that they might be shy and they don't know anyone, is maybe to ask them for a little help. A lot of people love to help. It gives them something to do.
Sure.
They kind of arrive, you take their coat and whatever, and you might say, listen, can you give me a hand in the kitchen for, and they'd be like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Now I've got something to do, some way to integrate. Next thing they're handing out, cocktails to people and they feel like they're already part of the party.
That's a
whereas
good
they actually don't know anyone.
And that's hard for a lot of hosts and hostesses because I know in my particular, I have a very, very small kitchen and I generally do all the stuff and I've got the deck and everybody's immediately out on the deck having their drinks and appetizers and stuff. And I kind of want to be left alone in the kitchen. I'd rather be in and out. But when somebody who knows what they're doing comes and helps you out, it really is. It is so appreciated that somebody says, hey, I have the hors d'oeuvres or I have the salad or any of that. It really does. And don't feel like you're ruining somebody's time when they arrive at your house. If they offer, feel free to accept. It's not a big deal. And you said it right.
You might be saving themselves from standing awkwardly in the corner while they're waiting to talk to someone, to put them to work straight away and they feel integrated into the party. Then they can get chatting. I mean, especially I'm not saying get them in and have them wash dishes or something. Like, I'm just saying, like, can you help me hand out these cocktails? I've got too many on a tray. And a lot of people are like, shit, yeah, I'm right in now. I'm part of it. And that's a nice thing to do. Mike Sawtell, $20, who's also a member. Michaela adds some great balance to the conversation. She's also a very classy, attractive woman. Get a room. Adrian Parker reached out to you, Oisin. Greetings from SoCal. No, we don't. Myself and Adrian don't talk, but that was all kind of in jest anyway. It was just making fun of his shitty pronunciation and stuff like that. But that's all. Yes, we love our Michaela. She brightens up the room, certainly.
Thank you so much. That's very kind.
The hostess with the mostess, baby.
Thank you, Mike Sawtell, for that lovely super chat.
It's also like, imagine Joan and Bob invite their friend Steve along with them, to come to your party. And Steve is a fish out of water. He only knows these two people, but he meets you and he says, oh, I could help. He might become your next big friend or, because he helped you out so tremendously. It's a great icebreaker too.
And you might be like, hey, I heard audio equipment or you're a DJ. We're having trouble with the speaker in the back garden. Can you take a look at it?
That's us.
People, it's a funny thing. Like people say when they when you move into a building and you don't know anyone, you want to get to know your neighbors. The sharpest thing to do is not to offer them something, because a lot of people go door to door and say, I just moved in. Here's a cake we baked. And people are like,
I won't eat it. No, I don't know you. I'm always going to smile.
It's poison.
And say, oh my gosh, you're the sweetest person ever. I am not eating that. Hey, I'm not picky. I love desserts and all that, but if I don't know you and you make something, I used to be a true crime junkie. No, I'm not eating
You're
that.
not
And I feel
taking
bad.
it.
They're not going to know that I'm not eating it though.
No, you'll
Except
take
I
it in
just told people
happily and then
online.
dump it in the bin. So apparently, the smart thing, because people love to offer, is to go by, knock on your neighbor's door, and say, "Hi, I'm your new neighbor, and we ran out of sugar. Do you have any sugar by any chance?" And people are very happy to offer and give help, or we ran out of milk or whatever. Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. Here you go. And it puts the person in a power position to make them feel like they're helping you. And there's no better feeling in the world. Apparently, that's a smart thing to do. So it's an extension of that to actually, if you feel like someone's going to be by themselves, a little awkward, to kind of get them involved and give them something to do, as I said,
That's a
That's a
very
really
nice
good
tip.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
I never thought about the effect that could have on that person. I do sometimes commission the guests to help a little bit once in a while when I need it, but that's a good
Mm-hmm.
point. If someone, because I often do invite a lot of single people to these like cocktail parties that I host, and that's a great
Mm-hmm.
thing they can do. And it gives them a way to even introduce themselves to people if I haven't had a chance to, if I'm having them like offer people this or that. But yeah, obviously read the demeanor if they seem like
Do you try to
they're not
matchmake as
into it.
well? Like Jessica meets
Oh, a
Steve.
couple
Could you guys
times.
take these trays out for us?
Oh
Do
my
you do
goodness.
that?
Um,
I love
a couple
matchmaking.
times, it's never stuck yet, so I'm not satisfied. I want to keep trying.
Right.
Um,
I've been matchmaker for years. I've
It's
done,
fun.
yeah,
there's many success stories.
Oh, that's
Yes.
good.
I'm gonna
I'll
have to
talk
ask
about
you for
that
your
more.
tips.
You don't want to know the things that I did, very kind of mind bending control shit that happened, and it
You're like
totally worked.
Emma.
They're like, they're married couples at this point. Ray, by the way, says clean the toilet.
Always make sure the toilet is spotless. For
Make
women,
sure.
think women first.
There's got to
Gents.
be a little candle as well burning
Always.
away in there, just in case someone has to, drop the kids off at the pool or whatever the fuck they got to
Yes.
do, and
Make
you
sure
don't want to
everything
ruin the
smells
room.
great.
Right.
Cleaning's the
Smell
first step. You got to get everything clean first.
Hey,
Yeah.
the
It's a
whole house has to be
non-negotiable.
spotless, of
Yeah,
course.
that's a non-negotiable. And
AP,
also, you
of course.
after working on it and making it spotless, and people come in, you have to be like, "I'm so sorry, it's such a mess." That's like bonus points if you say
Right.
that.
Right,
They look
right.
around, there's not even a speck of dust, and you're like, "Oh, so embarrassing. It's just so messy."
AP is quoting Family
Where's
Man.
my
Where's my
Ferrari?"
Ferrari?
Yeah.
Moving back to finger food, how much finger food is too much finger food? Because sometimes you go in and there's a sprawl of stuff all over the place. How much is too little and how much is too much?
Well, it depends on the size of the gathering, of course.
Sure.
You should, people have been the charcuterie explosion in the last, I guess it's about the last 10 years or so, especially here in the States, has gotten to the point where you're almost shaming people for not putting out ridiculous spreads like that. And that's nonsense. It's kind of a trend. And while it's cool for people, it's like when you go to the cocktail hour at a wedding, it's always better than the wedding food itself because people have choice. They can walk around. I would say 4 or 5 choices: fruits, some olives, some cheeses, maybe some cured meats. And that's it. And some crackers and some bread. You don't need to go crazy and have stations all over the place, shrimp stations. And you don't need all of that stuff unless, of course, you're having a gala and then it's catered and you don't have to do anything but look good. So, but when and it's also a tremendous amount of work. And I don't think people expect it. People expect to go and they want to have a good time. You don't ever want a guest to leave and say, "God, I'm starving," or "God, they had nothing I eat or drink," or "They didn't offer us anything." Always, first thing you walk in the door, something to drink, a place to sit, and and something good to drink. Don't ever let your guests feel as if they're in need of something. If you see somebody with an empty glass, offer a drink. Are they not eating? Offer a plate. Don't ever let people have to scrounge for things. That's not fair.
Now, what do you do for finger food, Michaela? Normally, do you prepare a lot of just little bites for people to nibble away at before you give them something larger to eat, or what do you do?
Totally depends. I usually, with like cocktail parties, I usually don't serve meals. I do serve just finger foods, like you're saying. And I am a victim of the charcuterie culture for sure. I'm a victim.
It's everybody
I'm
now.
obsessed with making it. I'm obsessed with making it. It's so much fun, and they are not cheap because you want good stuff on the board, and it looks beautiful. Takes a lot of time and effort, but I will say though, I am always pretty satisfied with the results because there's usually quite a few men that I invite to these parties, which I keep in mind, and I put a lot of food, like a big board, maybe multiple, and that's usually all I'll do. It's just two pretty impressive looking charcuterie boards, maybe like a little something with dessert, something sweet, or I'll incorporate it on the board somehow. But I'm always happy with the results. People always compliment it. There's something on there for everyone. I always separate like the meat from everything else, so like there's something for everybody. I don't know. I'm a victim to it, and it is a lot of work, and it is so expensive.
So
But
expensive.
it hits every time. It just hits every time.
Men love to pick
Every single time.
more than women do. Men
Really?
love men will eat men. You could get away with little hot dogs in a pastry for guys. Guys like that stuff. The girls are the ones that are going to judge you more, and maybe the gays, but the girls are
I've been
going to judge
by a girl.
Yeah,
She
but
made
the
fun of
guys
the
aren't.
fact. She made fun of the fact that I put dried apricots on the board. She's like, "Oh, that's old lady food." I didn't forget it. It's been 5 years.
God.
I wouldn't have a problem
never
with you
forgot
putting
it.
dried fruit on there. I think it's lovely, especially if you've
Yeah,
got
it's
some
a nice-
beautiful crackers and
Exactly.
maybe some spreadable cheese. Delicious.
You got to think about it like some people aren't just going to eat meat. Just put a little fruit and whatever on there. I mean, everyone else liked it. She was just never forgot it though. I think
What
I need to
about
forgive
fun
her.
stuff? What about something like odd and fun? I know a lot of people go out of their way to kind of create flower-shaped, I don't know, ginger concoctions or whatever, and they get in and do all sorts of funny shapes and stuff. But what about something like something novel? I know at some parties people put a load of vodka into squares of fruit and stuff and go, hey, if you want to try something crazy, pick one of these, and everybody gets a little bit. This is
Like
it's
Jello
great.
shots.
Yeah, Jello shots are you
Yeah.
put the cream on it and everybody does a shot. Also, like they'll take anguria. How do you say anguria again? Watermelon. And you sorry, I did a
My God, Mrs.
Sorry.
Baldwin.
I did a Baldwin.
¿Cómo se
I did
dice?
¿Cómo se dice? I did one of
Hilaria.
those moments. You cut it up into squares, or you take regular melon, cantaloupe, or whatever, and you douse it in vodka, and you stick, cocktail sticks in, and you kind of hand them around, and go, guys, look at this! If you dare, try one. And next thing, everybody's got a little buzz on them, and there's nothing better than it getting everyone a little bit drunk straight out of the gate.
I
So
agree.
there's none of that stiffness within the first half an hour. Everyone with a little buzz is so much friendlier and so much more
much
approachable until someone punches. So you don't want to
Oh
get
my
them
gosh.
that
I
far.
think that's a great conversation piece or conversation thing to do. Like it gives you a memorable thing. That's a fun
Yeah.
thing to do. I've never done that, so now I'm gonna think about it for next time.
A lot of people
just
just
makes it
take a
memorable.
giant watermelon and they drill a hole in it and then just pour a whole bottle of vodka in there for a day and chill it. And then
Yeah.
you make the slices and it's incorporated into the entire fruit.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So that's
And
a
you
whole
say,
other
oh,
way.
these are, deviled melon.
Yeah.
The
devil's
cubes,
melon.
the devil cubes or whatever.
Oh
You make
my.
it fun for everyone. And
Yeah.
next thing, everyone's got a buzz. And the buzz takes the edge off of everyone because that's the most important thing. Once they're all a tiny bit buzzed, you don't want to get them hammered, but a tiny bit buzzed, then everybody's smiling, everybody's enjoying whatever music is playing. I'm gonna get to the music in a minute because
that's a
obviously
big
that's a
part.
big one. I think sound is a huge one. There's nothing worse than a silent house or when the
Yeah.
music is too far away.
Or it's too
However,
loud.
it's also if it's too loud and it's not enjoyable music in some way. But before we get to that, I want to get to the other thing that I think is hugely important, and that is lighting. Soft lighting.
100%. So true.
Bright overhead light is just unless you're hammered drunk, in which case you have beer goggles and everybody looks beautiful. Soft light, guys. Turn off the overhead light
Yeah.
and use lamps and candles.
Ambient lighting is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
Turn your whole place into a kind of a dungeon cave, if you will. It's fine.
Church
Everybody-
lighting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it feel as if it's atmospheric. There's nothing worse than overhead or that LED lighting should never be allowed because it's hideous and it's white and it's bright and it's
Never,
horrible.
yeah.
But
And overhead lights in the middle of a living room.
unless
Turn
it's
I'm
a
the
allergic.
shit
gorgeous
off and
chandelier.
use a
I'm allergic.
lamp in the corner.
Yeah,
I'm
You know?
allergic to the big light. Don't be putting that
Yeah.
on. There's no reason.
there's
And the
never
kind of people, even separate from a party, in the middle of the day, when the light's coming through the window and they still put the big light on, there's something wrong. That's when you clean. You put the big lights on to clean. That's it. And you're cleaning.
Right.
Or if
Yeah.
you have a serious paperwork you need to look at. Everything
Yeah.
else, mood lighting.
mood
And for
lighting.
parties,
Always.
it's so make or break. I don't want to feel like I'm taking my SATs in a fluorescent room. Any restaurant that I go to and it's bad lighting like that, I'm immediately like, I'm not coming back. That's
Yeah.
it. I'm not coming back. Just
Horrible.
ruins the experience. Because I go to a restaurant for an experience, not even really just for food. It's the experience that I'm
Yeah.
paying for. And that's how it is for parties, totally. That's a really good one to bring up. 100%
It would just
agree.
all of a sudden everyone's a little better looking. People feel more confident. They feel like they're in nicer, more complimentary light. They feel in the better in that way. They feel more secure. An overhead light, it stales the room completely. Everything looks frozen, and you can see way too much detail, and you feel a little bit vulnerable. I think lower light, what happens is it creates pockets. People tend to kind of congregate near a light or far away from a light and so on. And all of this subconscious stuff happens. But let me ask you guys about something bizarre, a complete contradiction to this rule. Somehow, at some point in the evening, especially when there's a few drinks down, people begin to congregate in the kitchen,
This is
in
true.
the brightest room of the building. Why is that?
They want to be close to all the best conversation and the best action is always in the kitchen.
This
So
is true.
it might help you after the bulk of your work is done to maybe dim the lights, throw some candlelight in there, have a couple of bottles of wine on ice, white wine, things, because people, and if you have a nice kitchen with an
Yeah.
island or something like that, a
Yeah.
lot of people do, some people don't, just make sure that you know people are going to congregate there. And you're 100% right. It's always in the kitchen because that's generally where the person who did the host is, because they're working and you want to be and spend some time with the host.
I also feel people are comfortable standing around in a kitchen, whereas standing around in a living room is a little odd. You're next
It
to a big
is.
chair or settee, but
Yeah.
you're standing up, and that's normally for sitting down. Whereas in a kitchen, to stand next to the fridge, lean against the fridge or whatever, with a glass in your hand, feels more natural for a kitchen. You never sit down in a kitchen. You
You're
always
closer, I think. You're closer to everybody because, I mean, unless you have a ginormous kitchen, I feel like everyone's kind of congregating and standing in the kitchen. It's a good way to be close to each other. But if you are hosting in the living room space, it is more spread out. So I don't know. I think the vibes are just better.
Let's go.
And I think
Sometimes you
it's
want to get away
also-
from the insufferable too, because there's
Oh my
always
god, that's why I
insufferables.
always wind up at the kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, and then
Usually
you go there.
the-
Could you believe Gladys
the
and
hard
Stan?
drinker, the hard
Gosh.
drinkers are in there. The hard drinkers are in there. So I'm ready to go hang out with them. And we're
Yeah.
having a few shots, and I want to get away from the fucking stiff asshole. And
Right. That
in the
pretentious
other
twat.
it's like, let's disappear to the kitchen where all the cool
The
kids
cool
are.
kids are. The cool
Yeah.
kids always wind up in the kitchen.
You
It's
know,
true.
The cool kids, it's true.
Yeah.
And speaking of getting away from stiff people, how do you deal with people that are, I know you got to invite all kinds of people to your parties and get-togethers. You know, I'm sure we all have people in our friend groups who don't drink at all. Just their
Right.
choice. May not even be
Do
for
we?
like, I'm sober, whatever. I know, right? But it does so happen that anytime I'm hosting a cocktail party, there are people that I kind of have to invite because they're like in the acquaintance or
Yeah.
friend group
Mhm.
and they don't drink at all. And it also just, what do you do with that person? Because
How do
they
you
are,
loosen them up?
like you're saying, Oshin, they're often stiff. It's like they're not fun about it. No one is looking at them saying, hey, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you drinking? However, it feels like they're giving off a judgmental energy to people who are
Standoffish
enjoying.
vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Mm.
kind of judging people who are drinking just because they're not. But it's like no one's forcing you to drink and saying you have to. Why are you judging us? Like,
If they
I
are
don't know.
judging, don't invite them back. One, because there's nothing worse than somebody who counts your drinks or what you ate or any of that. It's not, go to another party. But for those people that you're afraid that they're going to be stiff because they're not loosened up, maybe have a little bit of homework on what interests them, like what their job is or what their hobbies are. Maybe somebody can talk to Stan about golf, or speak to Laura about, crocheting, or her bridge club or something like that, because you're going to have to find some common ground, because we're all loosey goosey now because we've had a couple of drinks. We're like, yeah, that album, you become more friendly, but those people they don't have that. And they might also, and this is something to take into account, sometimes people are in recovery, and you want to make sure that you're not insulting them, or and that's something to take into account too, because then maybe they had a problem with alcohol or some kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to hand them the water, the melon cubes.
No.
And it is tricky, because if you invite people who are in recovery, who are your friends or like acquaintance, to a cocktail party that's specifically centered around enjoying wine and cocktails with your friends, I always just try to, because I do have one particular that comes to mind, and we're not that close, but one thing is, I will notice people will continually offer him drinks throughout the night because they don't know, and they don't know him. Like, oh, can I get you something? He'll say no. I think it's nice to say a little something like, he's going to look better than all of us in 10 years. Just make them feel comfortable. Like,
sure, that's
he's
nice.
the one that's going to sleep well tonight with no headache in the morning. Like, make them feel welcome. But what are you going to do? Like, sometimes they are judgmental about it. They're just like,
there are people that do. I guess just those people don't get invited back.
That's a good point. Yeah,
because you don't want people to be a downer. It's for the greater good. It's not for one person. You try to accommodate the difficult ones, and if you can't please them, listen, you can't please everybody, and maybe they just won't want to come back next time. Michaela didn't have anything on offer for me, and of course you did, and you went out of your way, but some people are just that way. How many times have you gone to a party? I've gone to several parties where we're standing around waiting for them to get their act together. We don't know where to sit. We don't know. We haven't been offered a drink yet. Food is an hour away.
We're assuming there's the general rule of cleaning the place and being prepared ahead of time. I mean, we're going on that assumption. If somebody doesn't have their shit together and you arrive and you're standing around and they're gone in the kitchen and there's no music or drinks awkward or anything, and you're standing around feeling like an idiot and it takes them hours to pull their shit together, they should never be throwing a party. They shouldn't be having anyone over. I mean,
the people who invite you to dinner, okay, be here at 5, be here at 8, whatever. You get there, they're like, okay, it's in the oven, it'll be out in 2 hours. That kind of thing. That's happened to me. I'm like, okay, I didn't realize I was spending 6 hours at your house tonight. I didn't plan for 6 hours, but okay. Now I have to wait 2 hours for the dinner, and then also politely hang out afterwards and not just immediately leave. Like, it's just not good. So you got to be prepared.
A dinner party is a totally different story too. If you're having hors d'oeuvres and then a sit-down dinner, we're talking about orchestration, like a conductor would do. An hour and a half tops of people congregating and having cocktails and appetizers, and then, ladies and gentlemen, dinner is served.
Right.
And then that food is ready and it's being served on the table. And, oh, Glenn, I remember that you don't eat meat. Or, Sasha, I remember that you're a pescatarian, or whatever it is.
No, but it just occurred to me to step back for a moment. And I realized that we're talking about super details here. Can we just say there's a ground rule that if the party starts at 8 for the guests, it starts at 4 p.m. for you as a host, or 5 p.m. It doesn't start at 8 for you too. Oh, they're all coming over at 8, so at 8 I'll begin to.
Some people are like that, though.
Oh no,
some people are like that. That's like saying you're gonna open your bakery at 8, and you're gonna start preparing all of your patisserie at 8. That's not gonna happen. You need to be there at 4 a.m. So
you're throwing a party with guests coming over, whether it's 10, 20, 50, it doesn't matter. The party begins for you. At least you're not partying, but the preparation starts the minute you get up that morning. You start cleaning the entire place, scrubbing the shit out of the bathroom, whatever you're doing, making sure you have all the stuff in the house, and you start cooking and you start preparing and so on. It's better if the sausages are a little overcooked than no sausages at all for 3 hours while everybody stands around looking for something to do. I mean, I forgot that
were.
No, and I will say it is hard. I understand how hard it is. I posted dinner parties for people customers of my business. It's complicated. It was invite only, and it was actually at my business, and it was this whole like fun Christmas thing. I was the only one cooking everything. I did put so much pressure on my shoulders, and to get everything and put them in Schaefer dishes and have it hot and ready for everyone, I actually almost had a mental breakdown. It was so stressful. So I do understand that it
Right.
is hard to orchestrate everything in time, but you have to be prepared. And if you're not going to be prepared, don't do it. Just don't do it.
do
Just
it.
Don't do it.
pass them
You
over.
don't have to.
No-
Don't do it.
Don't throw a
Yeah.
party. You're not qualified. So here's an interesting one here about the overcoats. Because in a lot of places, they grab your overcoat and your hat and your gloves, depending what time of year, and it all goes into one of the master bedroom or
On
one
the
of
bed.
the bedroom on a bed. And at the end of the
Mhm.
night, there's a stack of 1,000,000 coats on top of the bed. These guys are saying here, invest in a metal coat rack, just one of the cheap metal coat racks, and throw people's coats up. What do you guys do normally? Do you,
It depends, though. I mean, that depends. First of all, I don't ever have anybody over here during the winter because my place is too small. I only
Right.
have it during the summer months, so
when
I
you
can't
can use the
say.
deck?
Yeah, so I don't. So
What
Michaela,
do you do, Michaela?
I have right in my like right when you walk in the door, I have these sliding doors that has a big, it's like a closet type thing, and there's a rack, so I can hang people's
Oh.
coats there. So
Oh.
I'm lucky in that way. It's just the way
Okay.
that this place is designed. But if I didn't have that, I would most likely dedicate a chair or something
Mhm.
where people can access it. To be quite honest with you, I don't personally want anybody walking into my bedroom during a party.
Right.
I usually keep my parties stay the first floor. I just don't know everybody like that. So no one's coat's
Sure.
going on my bed.
You don't want
But
John
I
Hamm
can-
stealing your Richard meal.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or my Hublot. I really don't want him taking it. But I think, yeah, if I had like my house set up in a different way, maybe I would be okay with it. But yeah, it's either a dedicated chair or the closet. And the closet
Yeah.
does get full sometimes. I have had this place packed with over 50 people before, and it was not a very comfy fit, but everyone had actually even more fun because there was no awkward space and someone sitting alone. It was impossible.
I think
That was kind of
if you're
fun.
going to use the bed in one of the guest rooms or something to throw all the coats on and make that big coat mountain that happens, I think you have to be the person to delegate.
Yes.
They don't know where their coat went. They have to come to you to say, "Listen, I'm leaving. Where's my coat and my hat? Oh, what color is it? What is it? I'll go get it."
Yeah.
You don't
that's a
want
good
them
one.
wandering through your house and
How many
going through
times
your
have you done
shit.
that? We've all done it.
Yeah.
Gone
Yeah.
to that bedroom and waded through all the coats and went to grab
You're
them.
going through
Put on
everyone
some of their
else's stuff.
makeup and go
Yeah.
through their drawers.
The
I
wallet.
just-
Now in
can't
New
help
York,
myself.
in Manhattan, when we've gone to apartment parties, very oftentimes people will rent a rack or they'll acquire a rack and it'll be in the hallway before you go into their apartment. Won't even be in their apartment. Right outside the door in New York City apartments, people will have a rack. You can rent them from Party Plus or any of these party rental places. And the
Yeah.
other thing that you should rent is enough plates for your guests. Don't ever serve anything that's not on a plate. No paper plates. There's nothing worse than going unless it's
Well,
a
that was
frat
one of
house
my
party.
next questions.
Oh,
You don't want to do paper plates and plastic
no,
cups?
Jesus
That's a good
Christ.
point, Dirk. That's a really good point. I purchased a couple years ago a brand new set of like plates and bowls and mugs and all that, everything matching. And
Yeah.
I purchased so many because I like to host. And it's just Eric and I living here. We don't need that many. But I purchased multiple sets because when I host, I like having all the little mini plates for all the charcuterie, all of the big plates for if we have a dinner. And paper plates are not as nice. I mean, if you're having an outdoor barbecue,
That's
I guess
different.
that's totally different.
Totally
Different vibe.
backyard party. It's fine. Go find the nice chinette or the ones that hold, because oftentimes you'll be having cold salads, things with oil or mayonnaise and things like that. And those are fine. You want something that's not just a thin paper plate like in a Chinese takeaway. You want like one of the ones that has maybe the 3 sections. That's great for that. And plastic cups are fine. But a dinner party or a home party, please, you know what? You can
Real
go to
silverware.
IKEA and you can just go buy 25 plates are for $1 each that all match. You don't have to
Mhm.
be serving Christofle or, some amazing service, gilded patterns from all the greatest, ceramic companies in the world and services. Yes, those exist too. And if you have money and you want to go to Tiffany or you want to go to all these great companies, you could do that. But if you want just plates and glassware, it says so much about how much you care about your guests. And there's nothing worse when things are mixy matchy too. I mean, this is not for college people. Of course, when you're young and doing all that stuff, that's fine. You acquired stuff from your granny, you got stuff from your sister. But when you're an adult and you're hosting a party, just make sure everything matches, and no paper plates, no plastic forks. God,
Yeah, no plastic forks. We have so many forks and spoons and knives. It frustrates me, but whenever we have a party, I'm so grateful that I bought all of them, because I'm like, everyone has real silverware, and it's so nice that everything matches. And I can see the charm, and Central Perk, Friends Cafe, everything's mismatched cozy. I understand if that's your personal aesthetic, and that is some people's personal aesthetic. But I will say, just make sure there's no dust anywhere, because that's kind of giving like dusty bookstore vibes a little bit. But as long as everything's clean, that can be totally charming. And also, like, it's a personality thing. If you like eclectic things, and that's it, that's fine. But I think if that's not your aesthetic and you don't want to go for that, matching. And it doesn't have to be that expensive. You can source things in different places, like
IKEA,
somewhere like
they're
Marshalls and whatever. Yeah, you can go
Dinner
get a
plates
set
are
somewhere.
$1. They're simple. That's what do you think the restaurant, you go to any restaurant, you think they spend $40-$50 on your plate that you're eating off of? No, they cost $2 wholesale. And you can get them, and it's so easy to store. You have one cabinet, you can put 25 plates in there. It's so easy to store if you've got a little bit of space. I have plates and bowls that I never use, only when people come over. Only ever under my storage in my kitchen, which is very, very small. But I've got 10 matching full set of bowls, of coffee cups, all of that stuff for guests only. I never use it, ever. It's just for guests.
It's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who never host anything, then discard this information. But
yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, some people never ever do this.
They just
some
go
people
to
do it
parties
twice or 3 times a year. So I guess it's different for different people. Then we move over to a really important one, and that is music. So, what kind of music do you play? How loud do you play it? Is it throughout the whole house? Is there music going on all night? So, what do you guys do? Starting with Michaela. What do you do for music, if background sound and music? Does it depend on the theme of the evening? Obviously, at Christmas, when you're hosting a Christmas party, super easy. Just put on the good old oldies, the Sinatra, etc., adds to the Christmas atmosphere. That's taken care of. But if it's not Christmas time, what are you doing for a party? What kind of stuff are you playing? Are you playing the stuff that's on the radio? You're playing classical music? What are you doing?
It depends. Once in a while, I'll have kind of a themed cocktail party. Like I threw a like 1960s style cocktail party / birthday party for my sister one year, and I'll share some photos with you guys later because it was really fun. Everyone dressed up. Obviously, that was theme-oriented music. But I would say generally something that's not annoying. Things get to people's head, like crazy piano playing starts making people feel a little bit crazy after some time listening to it endlessly. Like something, if you're going to play classical, I feel like maybe Baroque style stuff is a little less, like you can still focus on the conversation. It doesn't take you out of it.
Yeah,
I like jazz music.
Stuff.
I like jazz music. You got to be particular. And I think you can't just click on a random 3-hour-long YouTube jazz playlist. You need to pick each song that you're putting in that playlist because they can get a little crazy. You want to pick something that has a general relaxing vibe. I try to avoid too much like lyrical music unless it's like French music or something, because then no one really is taken out of the moment. They don't know what the hell they're saying.
But
so
that's
just
nice too, to play some.
nice.
I often like to play like French music from like the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yep.
Because a lot of people, if they don't speak French, it becomes more background because they can't sing along to it. And it's ambience and it's nice. And I find that
It has a sexy
when you do foreign language music, it's often great. My go-to for every time anybody's ever come over, we always wind up listening to Kate Bush at the end of the night. Him and me, we're finishing the fourth bottle of wine.
Obviously.
But in the beginning of the night, I play the Stan Getz João Gilberto album, the Bossa Nova album. That's my number one go-to.
Yeah, Bossa Nova.
And Girl from Ipanema, and Corcovado, and it's sexy and it's Brazilian, and it's just, you put it at the right volume and it feels like a party, but no one has to get too invested in it.
Right.
But everybody knows the Girl from Ipanema and all that stuff, and it feels like, oh, you're getting into a little bit of a mood here. And it doesn't have to carry on through the whole night, but that's what I think about that French, because I love to play. I love that you said that. I love to play, like I play the Je m'appelle Barbara Streisand's French album, Autumn Leaves, and stuff by, great composers like Charles Aznavour. It's really, like, it's not like you're not being a snooty musicophile, and you're not being, opinionated. You don't want to play the new SZA record and overpower the room.
I feel like oldies are a safe bet in the same way as with the Christmas stuff. You want the oldies going. No one's going to get offended by it. Everyone likes the oldies. Who the hell is going to come in and say, "Oh, I don't like Sinatra, I don't like Dean"?
Yeah.
Like,
kick them out immediately.
But I'm Mariah Carey. I hate Rosemary Clooney.
Here's a tip that I have. Now, it depends on what kind of party you're throwing. But I mean, obviously, if you're fucking 25 years old, I'm assuming most of the crowd are sophisticated crowd are having dinner parties and so on, okay, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. If you're 25 and you're throwing a crazy party and there's fucking people doing crazy tequila shots and so on, then none of these rules apply, really. It's just get everyone drunk as soon as possible. It doesn't matter. And then order pizza to the house. That's a different thing. But sometimes you're throwing a party that you don't mind if it gets a little bit warmed up. People are start out chatting and eating, cocktail sausages or whatever. I keep saying sausages. I don't know why tonight.
You want them.
You're dying for, you want sausages.
I want cocktail sausages. They can start at that, but then you might want to bring it up level. Now, this is what, first of all, I'm never going to play music that I like, because that's so selfish. That's
stupid.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. I find, here's my tip. So I started, bossa nova, fucking Luis Bonfa, stuff like that. That's light in the background, or the classical French stuff. Beautiful, just to kind of warm the spirit. People get to know each other. They start drinking. You spot a girl across the room. You go, "Who's that?" Introduce me to her or whatever, and so on and so forth. At a certain point, people start getting a little bit liquored up, and everybody begins to start laughing. Somebody might start dancing, right? I think the go-to, this is my tip, David Bowie. David Bowie classics. Go to the greatest hits of David Bowie. You want pop music that everybody can dance along to, sing along to, tap their foot to. I've yet to meet a person who doesn't like David Bowie. I can just get along and listen to changes or whatever's going on.
Also, his catalog is so diverse. There's something for everybody.
And it's just it's genius music if you pull it apart. But on the face of it, everyone at the party is gonna dig the Bowie. Bowie just works. There's my tip. Okay, if it doesn't work for you, I'm very sorry. Let me know your address.
What would you start with? Like old stuff, like Aladdin Sane or Ziggy?
You get the David Bowie classics. You don't want to play stuff that people don't know. You get the greatest hits of David Bowie list on Spotify or whatever that has, all the classics, all the hits you've ever heard. Let's Dance,
which
whatever.
There are many,
China Girl, whatever. There's so many. It's a huge catalog, and everybody gets in a good mood. I've yet to meet a person who doesn't go, "Oh yeah, some Bowie, yeah." Doesn't matter what taste you have in music. Bowie's going to work. If you want to bring up the temperature of the party a little bit, it's going to work. Now, let me ask you something.
And then Slayer.
Then hit that. Okay, here's one. And I was just watching, we won't talk about, Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm and the Watches and so on. But there's a big house party thrown in the last episode from last week.
Yeah.
And they all come along and it's everybody and they're all doing shots and so on. At a certain moment in the night, they bring out a martial arts expert to train the ladies how to defend themselves, right?
Yes.
It's because there's a little novelty theme thing. Some people at certain parties, they play a game after everybody's a little liquored up and everybody got to know each other and they've all got some food in their tummies. Then it's like, okay, guys, we're playing a game. It's Twister, or it's, I don't know, guess we're playing charades.
Sure, yeah. Charades.
Charades. I say charade. We say charade.
Charades.
You say
it's a charade.
You say tomato. I say tomato.
I know,
right?
but it's much better. I like charade.
So, what do you ever do? Do you guys ever, Michaela?
We've done that. We've done that here.
Again, like we played Trivial Pursuit or something.
Yeah.
Right.
It is so dependent, I would say, because if I'm at a party and I'm like 2.5 drinks in and I'm really having a great conversation and the host expects me to play some damn board game in that moment, I want to off myself.
Well,
Please
that's a
don't
small
ever
party
make
too.
me
You can't
play.
do that with a big party.
You can play
small party is the
board
board game.
Yes.
Here's what I'll say.
I'm talking about something crazy, fun, like for everybody.
Twister, that would be hilarious because only a couple people can play at once and the rest of people watch and laugh. That's I could see that being great. I think don't ever make it a game where everyone has to participate. It's just whoever wants to.
Sure.
Unless, the entire theme of the night is we're having a game night. Totally fine. One fun thing, and I did this last evening. I was out, wasn't at my own home, but I was out with a group of friends, people that I don't actually, some of them don't know that well. We're all getting to know each other. We're having a couple of drinks at this Italian restaurant. Afterward, we go on the patio. One of the guys is having a cigar, and we're all talking. Everyone has a good buzz, and we're just relaxing. And I asked everybody in a circle to name which of the 7 deadly sins that they associate themselves the most with. And it's really funny because nobody really wants to admit the worst one they really think they are, but I got the conversation going. And so I see fun little light things like that, and people can lie and people can tease each other. You're definitely gluttony. That's kind of funny. That's the kind of game I'm down for and I think works, but yeah, I don't think anyone should be required. It's too much. Some people are just not game people. Oh, it was fun. Everyone kind of got, we kind of guessed each other's, which was really bad because some of us were strangers, right?
That's tough.
Yeah, but I mean, we're keeping it lighthearted and kind of silly, right? So no one's actually going to look at the big fat guy. Not that there was one. I'm just saying and say gluttony. We're not going to do that, obviously. Right. But everybody ended up admitting what they thought they were. And it was definitely kind of an unexpected thing, but it actually was a great conversation starter, and everyone was laughing by the end. So
I bet, Ben, I see sloth.
No, I know, and some of my friends are they're people business people, and they're very, very ambitious people. We're greed for sure, greed. And then when they had to tell us their own, they really thought about it, and they're like, "It is greed. You're right. It's greed." Anyway, it's kind of fun. I did bring up the movie. Someone said, just like the movie, I did bring up the movie 7. Most people hadn't seen it, and I was like, you must. But
I've never seen 7.
Oh, come on.
It's good. You got to see it. It's good.
I've never seen Fight Club either.
It's also a cinematic masterpiece.
That's what I was going to say. It's unexpectedly a beautiful movie, too. The way it's filmed is not your everyday boring movie. It's cinematically beautiful, like you're saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying.
It's like coming out of the dark. That's what it's Caravaggio. It looks like it's chiaroscuro.
Oh,
just don't eat anything while you watch it.
Yeah, do not eat food.
It's not
is it a David Fincher film?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's his first film he made after all the music videos. Aliens 3 was his
first movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for games, it can be a weird one. I'll never forget a great game that was played, but this was a way bigger part. It was hundreds of people. It was in Brooklyn, and people started playing it was on a rooftop, and it was hundreds of people, but they started playing this game where groups of people would pick someone way across the other side of the party, anyone randomly, and try to guess what they do for a living. And they'd all talk and come up with ideas and pontificate. And then eventually someone's nominated to walk over to that person and tap them on the shoulder and interrupt and say, listen, 30 of us over there have been talking about you for 20 minutes, and we've all come up with the theory that you are a actor or you are whatever. And what do you do for a living? It was funny. It happened to me one time at that particular party. I was hit with that. Our group were doing it for some person across the rooftop, but they came over and they were like, "We chose you, and we think you're a Colombian drug lord." I thought I was, and I had much longer hair at the time, so I guess I fit into that.
Colombian drug lord.
But
How much do you need?
So yeah,
That's
I
fun.
think that can be fun. Okay, here's an awkward one. Okay, here's a rough one. I've been at parties. Now, it's not the same for young kids, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are throwing a party together. That's different. But for grown adults, all professionals, when you're at a dinner party or a big party when there's food and drink, and at the end of the party, they give you a bill.
What?
Oh my gosh!
They
Stop.
split. I've been in wealthy people's houses where they say we all owe $150. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is so rude
People
and
you've
so
met.
crazy
People
to
you've
do
met,
that.
Derek.
How could
If
that
you don't make
possibly
it clear
exist?
that there's if you
What?
don't make it clear when you invite somebody,
Yeah.
by the way, you're gonna be charged for
Plus,
everything.
if I invite you out to dinner at a restaurant, I'm paying.
Of
Well,
course.
that is very excellent manners, but the whole having someone come over to a party and
That
billing
makes-
them afterward
that-
is a
I don't
million
believe that
times
exists.
worse. That's a million times worse
How could that
than
exist?
splitting the bill with a friend at a dinner that you
Come
invite
to
them
my
to.
house
That's
for
a
dinner,
million.
and here's your bill.
You know what, Oshin? I have a story. Recently, one of my friend's acquaintance, he owns a couple of Italian restaurants. He knew Eric for years, and now I know him too. But his daughter, she's about my age. Her and I have become close over the years. She's fabulous. She had a 30-something disco-themed party hosted at one of her dad's restaurants. Invite only. The restaurant was like closed off to outsiders, and it was everyone's dressing up. And I went with my sister, and literally there were zero refreshments available for anybody. Absolutely everything you had to pay for, or you got nothing. It was the most just stingy thing I'd ever seen in my life. And if he's watching this, I hope he does. Don't do that again. That was so crazy, in my opinion. Like, you invite people under the pretense that it's a birthday party, invitation, come have fun. But no one can have anything to drink if they're not paying.
No.
It's crazy. It's so rude. It's the most
no.
like, you can have maybe some champagne for everybody, maybe a couple cocktails, and then
That's
if anyone wants extra,
what you're saying is worse, that the people
Is it?
can't even enjoy themselves if they don't say they're going to pay. I've been in the situation where everybody's enjoying, they're having drinks, the food comes out, whatever and they eat just like everyone else. But at the end, they're told, well, you had the lobster and you had.
Oh no!
So you owe everybody chip in. It's like we're all having parties, so we're all chipping in. Now, I've seen it here in Italy with 21-year-olds. That's a different thing because they all want to get together and have a party, and they're all kids.
They're kids
So
ahead of time. It's a rent party.
Everybody, it's going to be $20 ahead, so we can all have this party. And we'll,
fine.
if you give us $20 ahead, we'll go get everything and have it all ready when you get here, and everybody chip in, and that way we can all have a party. But I swear to God, I've been at wealthy people's homes who have millions of dollars, and they are throwing a birthday party or a Christmas thing or an anniversary or whatever it is, and then you get a bill.
How do you get? Who gives you a bill?
You're told at some point in the evening, it's like, hey, well, even before you just say, hey, it's going to be 150 a head. Is that cool?
Okay, so if it's a gala where the table costs 10,000 or your
that's
seat
different.
costs,
No,
that's
I'm talking
different.
about
So this is at somebody's house.
Yes,
and
a
there's
party
a
in the
bill.
house.
No, I would go straight up to
that's
the
the
host and say,
worst thing
"Are
I've
you
ever heard."
mad?"
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard. That's
I've
absolutely
never
horrible.
heard that in my life. That's
Like, if they make it clear there's a cover fee to come to this event, that's one thing. But that is crazy. That is actually way worse than the party that I went to, because you knew right away you're not getting anything to drink or eat or anything if you're not paying.
Did you know beforehand or when you got there?
Him or me?
No, you.
They did not say. anything about it at all. Not until I got there.
That's
Because and the thing is,
unconscionable.
you're being invited. It's invite only to somebody's birthday party. She's in her 30s, yet it's a themed birthday party, like we're little kids. So you know it's supposed to be fun and crazy. Like we're all dressing like 70s disco, ridiculous. And then like, yeah, hey, if you're not buying anything, you're not drinking. I don't blame her. I blame her dad a little bit, but she should have like pulled his ear a little, not wanting to make. Dad, we need to at least offer like starters for people, because some of the guests like are just sitting there like I didn't prepare to pay for my drinks. I don't know. I mean,
can we just say if you're throwing a party,
you're paying
a
for
Christmas party or whatever
so
it is,
crazy.
and friends are coming, you are paying
for all of it. There's no cost.
it's
That's
nice
not a
when
party
someone-
then.
It's nice if
otherwise.
somebody arrives with a bottle of wine in their hand, right?
That's classy, yeah.
Right. What do you bring? Okay, let's move on to that. What do you bring when you're heading to a party like that? You know there's going to be tons of booze, tons of food, and they're not going to fucking charge you for it because they're regular human beings.
You bring something for the host, not for you. Never bring a gift for the party. There's nothing
So
worse
true.
when somebody comes and they bring a bottle of wine and then they want you to open it
They
so
want you to
they
open
can drink it. No,
You need to
you
bring
buy a
that.
gift for the host. That's the worst. And
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. And I'm like, oh my God, you gauche twat. How dare you do that?
You know,
You
it's
bring
so
a
nice
for the
Yeah, sorry.
host. No.
No, but it's so nice when you bring a gift for the host to specify,
this is for you.
don't open this for the party. This is for you
It's for
later.
you.
Say
Right.
that to the host.
Yeah.
That's
Always.
really nice.
That's
If
what
you
I
don't
open
say
this
that
now?
to the host,
No.
they might. If you don't say that to the host, they might feel pressured
Obligated
to
to
open
do
it
it, yeah,
and like
no.
obligated. And it's probably not a big deal, and they probably still appreciate it. But it is nice to bring it just as a gift. It is just like, it's for you, please. And if you're concerned, like there's other things you can bring. There's some very simple things. You could bring flowers. I think that's always nice if it's a woman hosting. But it is nice to put it in a vase
Nice.
already, because you think
Yeah.
about it. Make sure it's in a vase already, because then she won't have to arrange it, cut it up, put it in a vase herself. That's a super classy thing to do. I think, it's not kind to be invited to a party and show up completely empty-handed unless the host said, please don't bring anything. I don't require gifts or anything when I'm hosting. And in fact, like, I don't really do potluck styles, so please don't bring any food. Like, I'm not doing that. I like to prepare everything a certain way.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like, it's just so classy and nice.
Never
Even if it's
come
just like
empty-handed to a
like
party.
a
I don't
small
care
little
what anyone
chocolate,
says.
something. It's like, hey, like, to be frank, the person that's hosting the party is spending, it could be easily over $1,000 on you all
Easily.
to have a wonderful night easily. So it's like, it's nice to just spend $12 on a little bit of nice chocolate and bring it. Like,
Just go
no
to
big
Maison
deal.
de Chocolat or go to Neuhaus or Toy Shop, your favorite chocolatier, and get them a truffle box or something just for them for after the party when they can kick back their shoes off.
Or if you don't
and have a
have
chocolate-
time, a bottle of wine. When you walk
Bottle of
in,
wine
you hand them.
for
You go,
you.
thanks for having me.
That's
Here's
always
a bottle
good.
of wine.
That's just
Where do
for
I hang
you.
my coat?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so you don't look like a moron with nothing in your hands.
Oh,
right?
there's
It's a
nothing worse than
lovely
showing up to a
entrance.
party empty-handed. Nothing.
I've had somebody bring me a case of like glass Pellegrino. That was so nice and so unexpected. You don't have to go crazy with it's literally water, but it's nice. Everyone
I'd
likes
love a case of
Pellegrino
that.
water. Everyone likes a glass bottle of Pellegrino. That's
Yeah.
like 10 out of 10 gift.
That's
like
a
it
10
doesn't
out
have
of
to be
10.
expensive.
That's San Pellegrino in the
You
glass
can-
bottles.
In America, we have world markets, which are just amazing because they have all kinds of imported goodies from everywhere around the world, and you can find such an interesting little gift to just bring in. Spend less than $20 easily, and yeah. So there's a lot of things you can do. I just think it's kind of improper to show up empty-handed. However,
Totally improper.
I will say though, as someone who hosts a lot, when people show up empty-handed, I am not offended. I don't feel upset. I don't feel
Right.
offended. I don't judge them.
They should
Mhm.
be it shouldn't be on you, it should be on them. Like, yes, of course you're not offended. You've got other things to do. You're working on your part. You're getting it together. If they don't bring something, you won't notice it, but you're really going to notice when they went to Saks Fifth Avenue and they got you a sterling silver spoon, or they got you a wine opener or a box of chocolates. It's just going to make such an impact on you. You're not going to notice the people that brought you nothing, but they should notice that they brought nothing. Be
Right.
gracious. Just an offering. It's just a thank you. That's all it is. A small thank you. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
extravagant.
And finally, what about the end of the evening as everything's winding down? What sort
How
of
do you
thing?
kick people out?
How do you kick people out? Coming back to music, by the way, this is how you do it.
Okay.
You know, you don't want to be
This is how we
blasting the
do
music.
it.
When you want people to begin to leave, you
Yeah.
want to change the music to something else, some later night jazz or something, so it feels like the evening is winding down, and they might unconsciously
Yeah,
get
you
the
play
next
Last Dance by Donna Summer.
right.
The official get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of
Last
this party.
Dance.
Yeah.
Last chance.
Now, here's the thing: do you start cleaning, washing dishes, things like
No.
that, or
Well,
do you
if
just
you
leave
know
it
everybody, you can.
everything for the following morning?
I do.
Only if
I do
it's
everything
in-
at night.
Only if it's a very intimate crowd that's left, like your best friends.
Sure.
Fine, it's
Yeah.
fine. If it's people that you're not very close with, I don't think that's polite.
No, it's not.
I'm a
Wait till
big
they
fan
leave.
of. I'm a little ruder than you, Oshi. I'm a big fan of shutting the music off when I'm like, okay, guys, it's
There you
time.
go.
It's
But what
that's
do
a
you
good
do?
way to use
What
music.
do you do though?
Yeah.
What do you do though when you have the person that overserved themselves and they don't want to leave? One thing is, it's always very important to, of course, push, get an Uber. Can I get an Uber for you? Don't drive yourself home. You can leave your car here, whatever. Or even, there has been many times I've let people crash here, and I even tell them, how about you sleep here for a few hours? Get up whenever you want, sleep it off, and then drive home. But like sober up a bit. But there are people that don't understand when the party's over. One thing I do, and I don't like the big light. I'll turn the big light on.
Turn
It's
the big
mid-
light on.
It's 1 a.m. Okay,
Sure. That's what we
You
did in the
gotta get up.
bar. I've pulled
Closing
I don't
time.
know. Can I count how many last calls I've had to pull in my lifetime as a bartender of 30 years?
10 trillion.
10 trillion. And we would shut the music lower, off. And then I would let everybody know we're wrapping up. And then the lights would go on. The lights immediately mean it's
So that's it. It's
over.
That's it. As Michaela said, turn the music off. So now we have that stale, frozen feel everywhere.
Yeah.
And then overhead lights go on. So we've lost our ambient mood.
It's over.
And now people want to leave, right?
Right. I mean, that's important. Question. Do you guys feel when you go to a dinner party and there's not coffee at the end of the evening? Do you think that that's a big mistake? Because I'm always looking for coffee at the end of the evening. I want to offer coffee to
That's
people.
a lovely thing to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have an espresso machine, so luckily I can just say, does anyone want espresso?
Right.
But don't
Of
try
course,
to
no
order
cappuccino because it's
don't
past
offer
11.
a frappuccino. I'm not blending anything for
No,
you.
it's coffee.
Black. We're drinking it black.
Well,
I think that's
I'll
really
spring
nice.
for the half and half.
Well, it's also nice, and I mean, if people want to have a little dessert with coffee too,
Sure.
it's a great pairing.
Yeah.
But sometimes
So
you
many
got a glass
times.
of wine, a dessert. You don't also want a coffee, wine, dessert, water. It's a lot of. It's a bit much, but there's
Also, once
definitely a
you've
point.
had coffee, you're not having any more booze.
You're done. Right.
Coffee
Once
is a closer.
It's a closer.
Yeah.
And you're also done with the sweets. You're having the sweets, you have the coffee. It shuts your palate off for the night, I feel.
That's right.
It's over.
Yeah.
So I think that's another great way. And I've been to so many parties that one touch at the end of the night was there was no coffee at the end. And doesn't even have to be espresso. It can be just offer coffee. Because I think it's a great way to end the night, especially somebody who's been drinking too much. Maybe they need to have a coffee.
Right.
It's a good idea.
So yeah.
That's a great thing to think about. So, guys, if you love Michaela, as we all do, go over and give her a sub. Michaela de Chatillon, this is her channel. She
brilliant.
just did a
Watch
video on her new Bulgari.
She's beautiful. She has style and class. Watch her channel.
And beautiful
you.
watches
Won't be
and great
sorry.
watch reviews with gorgeous camera
Look at
work.
this.
Lovely surroundings there. Where are you sitting there? By a lake or something? It's
I was in
great.
front of Lake Washington in Kirkland. I did a little mention of eye bashers at the end of this video too.
I saw that.
I hope a couple people came over, but I
Aw.
think we
Yeah, you
I
got a
think
little
we
promo.
share audiences,
Aw.
so
Yeah,
they're
for
probably
sure.
already there. But
And speaking of eye bashers, that's Dirk's channel here. Eye bashers every night of the week, except for Saturday and of course tonight because he's doing this with us. Go over there and check out Dirk's live walkabouts streams around New York City. How did those go, by the way, Dirk?
The Thursday night one, I had perfect reception the whole night. This one went great. I was gonna meet up with you know who, but it turns out it was better I did it on my own. And I went out for 3 hours, went to the Brooklyn Bridge, went to Dumbo, went out for some Juliana's pizza, had some great coffee. excellent espresso, top notch. It's one of the best espressos I've ever had in my life at Juliana's down in Dumbo, right at the foot of the bridge. It was a great day. And then I took the boat home. It was a lot of fun. I had a great
So
time.
nice.
So, guys, go over and give him a sub so he can build his audience. It's really good, engaging stuff, and you get to send in your photos of your watches.
We share
and
them every day.
your hats if you feel like it, and they get to talk about it over there on the channel. And of course, Friday night,
It's ours.
we both do a long thing late, and we have a lot of fun doing that
And
too.
we drink a lot of wine. That's for Friday. My Barolo.
Nice. Well, that was fun. That was a good chat.
Yeah, this is a great
I feel
one.
like I learned a few things.
I
in
think we
there.
can have a part 2 of this next week because I think there's so many other things we didn't talk about. We could talk about it next week,
Absolutely.
like picnics, etc.
It's the time of the year to talk about it. So this is
It
perfect.
is, because
Yeah,
we're all
we're
getting
getting
out.
into
We're being more social.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's have
Out
a
of
look at those
hibernation.
wrists before we go. Let's have a look at that Milgauss, baby. Lovely. Looks great, man. Always
I can't
does.
wait to try that on.
Oh, I can't wait for you to try it on.
And I'm doing the gold sub with my sunburn.
Yeah, put some cream on that right away.
I
will you?
will once.
Yeah.
once
We're
we get
Irish.
off here and
You know
go
what it's
straight for
called? Skin cancer. Be
I
careful.
tan like a Turk, though. You know me.
Yeah, I know, but.
No, don't worry. I have all the stuff.
You have
here,
all the stuff on good.
of course.
And the
And
beautiful
Michaela.
Michaela de Chatillon, her Ballon Bleu, the amazing Cartier. Look at that.
Wonderful.
That watch is
Watch as
gorgeous.
big as my head.
Listen, that watch is my favorite watch on you, even more than the Reverso. I just
Oh.
think it looks gorgeous on you. It suits you so
Well, thank
beautifully.
you.
Still
It's
my
engraved
favorite.
with a special message, so I can never sell it. No, I'm just kidding. No, it is. So for me, this is very precious. When I
Yeah.
wear it, I feel very confident, and I'm always reminded of the very special moment that I received it. So
Oh, that's what
Nice.
counts.
Very, very nice. Okay, guys, great fun, great show. Thank you, guys. The couple of super chats that came in. Thank you, everybody, for contributing
you.
to the show. We'll see you guys same time, same place next week. Ciao from the Watch Fashion Police.